Hey, welcome to Official Radio Podcast. Today, we are going to explore an amazing book written by Dr. Carol Dweck, The Mindset. Think about this for a moment. Have you ever failed a tough exam, been rejected from a job interview, gone through a painful breakup, and in that moment, said to yourself, I am just not good enough. I wasn't made for this. Maybe I really am that limited. But did you know that one single thought is shaping your entire life? Today's book tells us your success or failure does not depend on your talent. It depends on your mindset. And that mindset can be changed at any age, at any time. So let's begin today's audiobook, The Mindset. Chapter 1: Two Mindsets, Fixed and Growth. Dr. Carol Dweck was a famous psychologist at Stanford University. For years and years, she observed thousands of people, from young children all the way to top CEOs. And at the end of this long research, she made an incredible discovery. She found that all people in the world are essentially divided into two groups. One group believes human intelligence, talent, and skill exist within a fixed limit. It's something you are born with and it doesn't change. You are what you came into this world as. Dr. Dweck named this way of thinking the fixed mindset. The other group believes human intelligence and skill can be continuously grown through hard work, effort, and the right strategies. What I can do today, I can learn tomorrow. She called this the growth mindset. Does this difference seem small? Look a little deeper and you will understand. This gap between two beliefs determines how you face challenges, how you view failure, and ultimately which direction your life goes. Dr. Dweck described a study where a group of children were given small puzzles. When they solved this, they were given harder ones. Some children lost interest and felt uncomfortable, but some children became even more excited. One little boy said, I like the hard ones better. These two reactions were the first signs of fixed and growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset are always trying to prove they are smart, capable, and good enough because they are afraid if someone says that they can do something, it will prove they are not truly talented. So they choose easy tasks where success is guaranteed. People with a growth mindset think every difficult task is making my brain stronger. If I make mistakes, I will learn. If I fail, I will try again. They welcome challenges. Now ask yourself, which group are you in? Chapter 2: How Fixed Mindset Holds Us Back. Dr. Dweck says the fixed mindset creates four major problems in a person's lives. Problem 1: Avoiding challenges. People with a fixed mindsets always take to things they are already good at because trying something new might lead to failure, and failure to them means I am not talented, so they avoid that opportunity altogether. Think of this example: a student who gets good grades is asked to try a new difficult subject. The fixed mindset student says, no, I am not good at that. I won't take it because they don't want to risk failing. Problem 2: Giving up when things get hard. When people with a fixed mindset hit an obstacles, they give up very quickly. They think these obstacles is proving that I am really not cut out for this. Problem 3: feeling jealous of other success. When someone else succeeds, people with a fixed mindset feel threatened. They think, if they are better than, I must be worse. Success feels like a limited pie. If someone takes more, there are less left for everyone else. Problem 4. Blaming others instead of learning from criticism. If someone says there's a mistake in your work, a fixed mindset person treats that comment as a personal attack. Instead of improving, they say that person just doesn't understand. Dr. Dweck shared a fascinating finding. Children who were praised for their intelligence, you are so smart, later avoided difficult problems because they didn't want to risk losing that smart level. But children who were praised for their effort, you worked so hard, chose harder problems because they knew that effort leads to improvement. This one simple difference, you are smart versus you worked hard, can completely reshape a child's mindset. Can we see now how the words people around us say can actually build or break our mindset? Chapter 3. Growth Mindset, the real secret to success. So, how does the growth mindset actually work? Dr. Dweck says, growth mindset doesn't mean everyone is equally talented. It means every person can fully develop their potential through effort and learning. You might be weak in something today, but that's not the final word. Brain science tells us that when we learn something new connection form in our brains. This process is called neuroplasticity, meaning our brains literally change when we learn. People with a growth mindset have four key qualities. Quality 1. Seeing challenges as opportunities. When a tough task comes along, the growth mindset says, this will help me grow. The fear of failure is smaller than the desire to learn. Quality 2 is staying the course when things get hard. In difficult times, a growth mindset person doesn't give up. They know that a hard road doesn't mean the destination is unreachable. Obstacles are opportunities to learn. Quality 3. Learning from criticism. When receiving negative feedback, the growth mindset asks, what can I learn from this? They see the critic not as an enemy but as a teacher. Quality 4. Drawing inspiration from other success. A growth mindset person thinks, if they can do it, so can I. They don't see other success as a threat, they see it as a roadmap. Dr. Drake makes a very important point here. She says, yes, talent is needed for success, but talent is just a starting point. The person who works hard, stays consistent, and keeps a learning mindset will eventually surpass the talented person who simply sits back and relies on their gift. Think of Thomas Edison. He tried 10,000 times before he invented the light bulb. When someone asked him, how does it feel to fail 10,000 times? He said, I didn't fail, I discovered 10,000 ways that don't work. That is the growth mindset. Chapter 4. Mindset in sports, business, and relationship. Dr. Drake didn't limit her research to the classroom. She showed that mindset affects every area of life. Mindset in sports. Look at the history of great athletes. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time. But did you know he was cut from his high school basketball team? A fixed mindset person would have quit that very day, but Michael Jordan used that failure as fuel. He trained harder and put in more time. He himself has said that throughout his career he missed more than 9,000 shots, lost over 300 games, and missed 26 games, winning shots when it mattered most. And yet he made history because He turned every failure into a stepping stone for the next day's improvement. Mindset in business. Dr. Dweck observed the CEOs of major companies. He found that fixed mindset CEOs shows a strange pattern. They prefer to show only the good news about their company while hiding problems. They surround themselves with people who praise them, not people who challenge them. As a result, the real problem of the company go undetected, and slowly the company starts to sink. Remember the collapse of Enron, owns the seventh largest company in America. Their CEOs thought of themselves as the smartest people in the room, but they could not admit mistakes or take criticism. So the rot grew from the inside, and by the time anyone saw it from the outside, it was too late. In contrast, growth mindset leaders are always learning. They keep people around them who will challenge them and point out mistakes because they know catching mistakes is what moves a company forward. Mindset in relationship. This part surprises many people. Dr. Dweck showed that mindset has a deep effect on our love, lives, and friendship too. A fixed mindset person believes that in real relationship, everything should naturally be perfect. If two people are truly meant for each other, there will be no arguments, no misunderstandings. If problems arise, it must mean the relationship was wrong. But the growth mindset knows that every relationship faces problems. A great relationship is built by two people working through those problems together by talking, understanding, and trying. The fixed mindset person wants to improve. I am the best partner. The growth mindset person wonders, how can I become a better partner? This difference may seem small, but over time it has a massive impact on any relationship. Chapter 5: Parents, Teachers, and Coaches. How we shape mindsets. Dr. Drake says mindset is not something you are born with, it is built, and the people who play the biggest role in building it are parents, teachers, and coaches. The role of parents. We already saw how saying you are so smart can build a fixed mindset, but it goes even deeper. When parents try to protect their child from all difficulty, from failure, from criticism, they unknowingly send this message: you can handle hardship, you need to be protected. This message quietly weakens a child's confidence. On the other hand, parents who allow their child to face difficult situations on their own, who stand by them when they fail but don't pull them up by the hand, those parents build a growth mindset. Dr. Drake says, if you want to give your child the greatest gift, challenge them, let them fail, show them that life continues after failure, and praise every effort, not the results. The role of teachers. When a teacher says in class, this math isn't for you, from the day on, that student love of math dies. But when a teacher says, you haven't understood it yet, but you will, we will try together, a growth mindset is born in that student. Dr. Drake described a teacher who worked with the most struggling students. Other teachers would say they won't learn, but this teacher believed every child had potential, and the students in her class would eventually surpass all the others. The role of coaches. This principle applies on the sports fields too. John Wooden, one of the greatest basketball coaches in history, never focused on winning. He focused on the process. How much improvement happened at each practice was more important to him than any win or loss. His team won 10 consecutive NCAA championships because he built a growth mindset. in every on office players. Chapter 6, Changing Your Mindsets, The Path to a New Beginning. Now, the most important question arrives. If you realize that a fixed mindset is at work inside you, can it be changed? Dr. Dweck says yes, absolutely, but one important thing must be said first. She explains that people don't fall neatly into just fixed or growth. Every person carries a mix of both. In some areas of life, we have a growth mindset, and in other, the fixed mindset creeps in. Maybe you are very growth oriented at work but have a fixed mindset in relationship. Maybe you love learning in school but say about physical skills, I could never do that. So, how do you begin to change? Dr. Drake describes 4 steps. Step 1, recognize the voice of your fixed mindsets. There is a voice in our heads that always wants to keep us limited. When a challenge appears, that voice says, you can't do this. Don't try. You will embarrass yourself. The first step is to recognize that voice, to hear it, and to say, yes, I know you are there, but you don't have the final say. Step 2, challenge the fixed mindset. When that voice says, if you fail, people will laugh. Ask back with your growth mindset. Will they really? And even if they do, so what? Am I living just for other people's opinions? What can I learn from failure? This inner conversation will continue, and that is where change begins. Step 3, strengthen the growth mindset voice. When the growth mindset voice says, this is hard, but let me try, respond to it, walk that path. Gradually, that voice will grow louder and stronger. Step 4, take small steps every single day. Mindset doesn't change overnight, it is a long journey. Every day, take on a small challenge that makes you uncomfortable. You stay in the discomfort. That is where the brain grows. Dr. Drake shares a beautiful idea. She says, when you attempt something difficult and fail, remember these 2 words, not yet, meaning I haven't been able to do it yet, but I will. This phrase, not yet, gently moved the fixed mindsets. I can't, aside and makes room for the growth mindsets, I will. Chapter 7, From Book to Life, The Final Message. Dr. Carl Dweck book is not just a psychology book, it is a philosophy of life. All our lives, we have believed that successful people are simply talented people. But the truth is, most of the great people in history, scientists, artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, pushed past the limitation of a fixed mindset and chose to embrace a growth mindset. Oprah Winfrey came from a poor family in Mississippi. She went through deep trauma as a child. At one point, a TV employer told her, you are not suited for television. But she kept learning, kept growing, and became one of the most influential media figures in history. The core message of this book is simple but endlessly powerful. Your circumstances do not define you. Your talent does not define you. What defines you is your mindset. How you see those circumstances and the talent, and what you choose to do based on that vision. The most beautiful thing about the growth mindset is that it always faces forward. It doesn't dwell on what happened in the past. It asks, what is the next step? Did you fail an exam? Growth mindset asks, what will I do differently next time to pass? Did your business take a loss? Growth mindset asks, what did I learn from this? Did you get hurt in a relationship? Growth mindset asks, how can I become a better person? Dr. Dweck says, the moment you start asking these questions, that is the moment change begins in your life. And most importantly, you are not alone in this journey. Millions and millions of people around the world are challenging their fixed mindsets every single day. growing a little more every day, discovering new limits of their own potential every day. If you are enjoyed today's episode, give it a like, drop a comment, and share your thoughts. Write about where the fixed mindset is showing up in your own life. Let's talk about it together. And if you want to keep hearing motivational audiobooks like this one, subscribe to this channel. See you in the next episode. Until then, stay well, stay healthy. Thank you.